Hi guys, today is still the 28th of July 2019. It's now 56 minutes past 12 in the morning over here in the UK. Actually, it'll be the 29th of July now, not the 28th. So, warning for Texas, there is a potential for a hurricane to head your way. May not be very catastrophic wind-wise, but it does appear to be a rainmaker. This one, if it does form into a hurricane, will be called Hurricane Barry. It will be the first of the hurricanes on the list for the Atlantic. Uh, Technically, it's forming in the Gulf, but still, it's under the Atlantic naming. So, just a little bit. A tropical storm is likely to form in the Gulf of Mexico late this week and may become a big rainmaker. A weather disturbance meandering over the southern United States is headed for the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. It's expected to develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm in the days ahead and maybe even a hurricane. This is a high probability. There is a high probability that a tropical depression is likely to form by the end of the week over the northern Gulf of Mexico. There is potential for a considerably strong storm to develop if it lingers over unusually warm temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. Assuming the system becomes strong enough to earn a name, it will be called Barry. Irrespective of how strong it gets, it is set to drop loads of rain somewhere along the Gulf Coast between the Florida Panhandle and Texas. Totals of half a foot to a foot of rain seem a decent bet near the track if the storm does indeed develop, and there are scenarios that could deliver even more than that. So just looking at the Ventuski map, this is taking us up to Friday, July 12th, 1 a.m. After that, going on to like 4 a.m., it kind of disappears as the tracking gets a little more sporadic. So I'll keep a track on it over the next couple of hours as it develops some more. But for the moment, for the time being, it does look like some form of tropical storm or hurricane is going to form in the Gulf of Mexico over the next couple of days. That's bringing us into the watch time I talked about in the last video I just posted, July 14th, which is July 1st on the Julian calendar, and July 15th, which is July 2nd on the Julian calendar. So bear that in mind. Also consider that this is the Hurricane Barry has been called the Rainmaker. 1 second. And it was JK who connected the rain that the lightning is making. You can see that in the background, the lightning is making the word rain. He connected that with Hurricane Harvey, and I think that's a possibility. But considering how many things are taking place in this year that appear to be connecting with this video, the Notre Dame fire, the Russian submarine, even we haven't taken any interpretations from the iPad Go To video of the California earthquake, but obviously everyone knows about the big one, and that seems to be ramping up in this year. We've got all these volcanoes that we've been watching waking up. Mauna Loa, for example, with the advisory being lifted. Kilauea erupted last year. We thought that might be the time. Stromboli erupted this year. Mount Etna's been active as well. So those four volcanoes I've talked about quite a lot. La Cumbre Vieja is one that's been quite quiet, but I still expect there may be some activity from that one. But either way, in the background here, we've got the word rain in the lightning, and the oil rig as well. Seems to connect us with Texas. We've also got the oil. We've also got the oil slowly dripping into the water just here. So again, that kind of gives us a reference to oil slowing down. So while it could have been talking about Hurricane Harvey, I think it may be a reference to a hurricane in this year, possibly Hurricane Barry, because we've got the situations with Iran, we've got the Russian submarines, we've had the eclipse. So it all seems to be taking place in 2019. So if the rain in the background made by the lightning is a connection to a hurricane or a storm of some kind, I'm thinking that may be Barry, which is coming up in a couple of days. And you'll see as well, while um the oil slick is dripping into the water here, it also represents a crack or a fissure in the earth, which again, along with the hurricanes going on in California, there has been some cracking in the earth. So there may be something bigger to come, and that may be connected with the tsunami that flows above the word rain, which does look like clouds, but they've cleverly layered the image in that way, and that's where the hidden submarine is. So, with all that said, Texas, keep an eye out for a tropical storm or Hurricane Barry dropping loads of rain, possibly causing an issue with the oil there. Um, Definitely some issues with flooding. I know you guys had lots of issues with Harvey, so be prepared for potential issues with Barry. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.